You've seen Lincoln pennies your whole life, but one of them is different. A tiny mint error or a rare year can turn a simple cent into a collector's treasure. Look closely. One penny could change everything. The story of the 1998 Lincoln 1-cent penny begins in a year that felt ordinary for most people. But not for coin collectors who knew that even the smallest mistake at the U.S. Mint could turn a simple copper-plated zinc penny into a life-changing treasure. Sometimes, all it takes is one small deviation, one shift in pressure, one unexpected die clash, or one dramatic misalignment to produce a coin that makes collectors stop, stare, and immediately calculate how much it might be worth. And among those rare moments of minting magic, the 1998 Lincoln penny stands out as one of the most surprising discoveries of the late 90s. At first glance, this penny looks like any other. You see Abraham Lincoln's profile, the familiar Liberty inscription, and the year 1998 shining just below it. But collectors who know what to look for don't just glance at a coin. They examine every curve, every mark, every subtle detail that hints at something more. And in the case of this coin, the errors that appeared in certain batches from 1998 changed everything, turning them from loose pocket change into hidden gems of the numismatic world. This coin's journey began on the heavy-duty presses of the Philadelphia and Denver mints. These machines, capable of creating hundreds of pennies per minute, are designed for precision. But even precision can lose its grip for a fraction of a second. These crack, planchets misfeed, pressures shift, and the result? Some of the most valuable 1998 pennies ever recorded. One error that gained massive attention was the famous close AM design anomaly, which created a penny with a reverse design that shouldn't exist on that year's circulation strikes. That small spacing flaw between the A and the M in America turned everyday pennies into high-value prizes for collectors who knew the difference. But spacing errors were not the only reason 1998 pennies soared in value. Certain examples appeared with strong strike doubling on the obverse, particularly around Liberty and the date. Under magnification, the doubled letters seemed to almost vibrate, creating an effect that made experts instantly recognize their rarity. Even more exciting were the off-center strikes from that year, where Lincoln's portrait shifted so noticeably that you could see the clear deformity that collectors love. And when you combine off-center striking with strong details preserved on both sides, the prices shoot up through the roof. So how much are these pennies actually worth? That's where things get interesting. Imagine spending a single penny, just 1 cent, only to later discover that the same type of coin sold at auction for more than $52,190. That number isn't theoretical. It's exactly how high some rare 1998 errors have climbed, depending on condition and rarity. And that's just the starting point. The upper range, for the most pristine examples with powerful error characteristics, has reached a staggering $124,450 at certain private and specialty auctions. When collectors compete over a coin this rare, the bidding wars get intense, and the final numbers often shock even longtime experts. One of the most talked about sales happened at a specialized numismatic auction where a nearly flawless 1998 penny with an exceptional close AM reverse drew more than 7 bidders into a heated back and forth that lasted almost 9 minutes. The energy in the room escalated with every raise, and after the final paddle lifted, the coin hammered for over $67,000 before buyers' premiums. Moments like that remind coin collectors everywhere that hidden treasure still exists in the smallest corners of everyday life. Another famous sale involved a dramatic off-center 1998 penny that preserved nearly the entire date and Lincoln's portrait while shifting the strike far enough to make the design look almost surreal. That one fetched over $41,000 at the Stack's Bowers auction, proving that even a coin that cost the mint fractions of a cent to produce could triumph in the spotlight with the right error. Collectors also love the 1998 pennies with strong die clashes, where the faint outline of the reverse appears ghost-like behind Lincoln's head. These unusual imprints attract a dedicated audience because die clashes tell a story about the minting process. They reveal the moment when the hammer and anvil dies struck each other without a planchet in between, almost like a minting accident frozen in time. One such die clash penny from 1998 sold for a surprising $25,000, and experts believe that higher-grade examples could push well past $40,000 if they appear on the market today. But what makes these coins so valuable isn't just the error itself. It's the combination of rarity, condition, and timing. The late 90s saw massive production numbers for pennies, meaning millions were minted each day. So when a rare error slips through, its survival becomes exceptional. Most were spent, lost, or damaged before anyone even noticed what they were. That's why pristine MS-graded versions with errors sell for astronomical prices. They're almost impossible to find. High-grade error coins from 1998, especially those graded MS-66 or MS-67, are the true gold mines in the world of pennies. Imagine opening an old jar of change, the kind that sits untouched for years, and pulling out a penny from 1998 that looks just a little different. Maybe the spacing seems unusual. Maybe the letters look doubled. Maybe the portrait feels slightly shifted. That moment of curiosity is exactly what leads everyday people to discover coins worth thousands of dollars. And with price records showing values between $52,190 and $124,450, it's no wonder collectors search feverishly for these small anomalies. The beauty of coin collecting is that discoveries often happen where you least expect them. The 1998 penny proved that you don't need to be standing in a treasure vault or uncovering ancient ruins to find something extraordinary. All you need is awareness, a good eye, and a little bit of luck. Countless stories have surfaced of people who unknowingly carried error pennies in their wallets for years before realizing what they had. Some found them in spare change. Others inherited them. A few bought them accidentally in mixed coin lots, never suspecting that a single tiny coin would be the most valuable piece in the entire batch. Today, the 1998 Lincoln error penny remains one of the most sought-after coins from the modern era. Collectors actively hunt for them at coin shows, online auctions, estate sales, and even in circulated batches from banks. Many dealers keep magnifying tools handy specifically for checking the 1998 pennies that come across their counters. Because once in a while, that extraordinary error penny appears, and when it does, its owner becomes part of numismatic history. What makes this coin even more fascinating is how unpredictable its value can be. The right buyer, the right auction, the right grade, combine those three factors, and a coin originally worth 1 cent can rise to its full potential, fetching for, sometimes even 5 figures. And with error coins becoming more popular every year, experts believe that future auctions could push 1998 penny prices even higher. Whether it's the close AM design, the double die varieties, the off-center strikes, the die clashes, or the minting anomalies that appear only once in a generation, the 1998 Lincoln penny stands as a reminder that history, value, and rarity can hide in the smallest objects. So the next time you see a penny from that year, don't dismiss it. Examine it closely, because you might be holding something that once sold for $52,190, or even soared to a breathtaking $124,450 in the right auction. And that is why this tiny copper-plated coin continues to captivate collectors everywhere. Hidden treasures don't always glitter. They sometimes come in the shape of a simple penny from 1998 with a story and value far beyond its original worth. The story of the 2014 Lincoln 1-cent penny error coin begins like many modern coin discoveries do. Quietly, almost unnoticed, sitting in pockets, tucked inside drawers, and passed through countless hands without anyone realizing the incredible value hiding in plain sight. What makes this particular coin so fascinating isn't just its date or its design. After all, the Lincoln cent has been a part of American life for more than a century. What truly elevates this coin into a category of its own is the unexpected set of mint errors that appeared that year and how dramatically they changed the fate of certain pennies. These mysterious mistakes transformed pennies worth just 1 cent into rare collectibles fetching anywhere from $34,200 to an astonishing $89,000 depending on condition, rarity of the error, and the intensity of competition at auction. Collectors have always chased down Lincoln cent errors, but something about the 2014 batch created a louder buzz. Error specialists quickly noticed anomalies ranging from off-center strikes to misaligned dies to doubling so crisp that the details looked almost sculpted. A few of these coins showed such dramatic features that they were sent immediately to grading services, and when the grades came back higher than expected, the marketplace lit up with excitement. It didn't take long before one example crossed the auction block and shocked everyone when it sold for well over $30,000. Proving that even a modern penny could capture national attention. One of the strongest stories revolves around a 2014 penny discovered by a casual hobbyist who had no intention of collecting coins. He received the penny in change at a gas station and only kept it because it looked a bit strange. The date seemed stretched, the rim was slightly uneven, and Lincoln's profile carried doubling visible even to the naked eye. Weeks later, he posted a picture online, and experts urged him to send it for grading immediately. When the certified results confirmed it was an extremely rare mint error in nearly perfect condition, it ended up selling for a figure he never imagined, a staggering auction result just slightly above $40,000. For a man who wasn't even looking for treasure, the penny became life-changing. Another famous example surfaced from a coin roll hunter who, after opening hundreds of rolls from bank boxes, stumbled upon a 2014 penny struck dramatically off-center. The lower half was cleanly missing details, while the upper portion showed unusually sharp impressions. This type of error happens when the blank planchet isn't centered correctly between the dies, creating a striking appearance collectors love. He proudly submitted it to auction, and the coin sold for $52,000, far beyond what he expected. That sale alone boosted interest in searching 2014 pennies, making collectors throughout the US start rechecking their change jars and old storage boxes. Then there's the story of a 2014 penny found in uncirculated condition with a powerful double die obverse error. The doubling across Lincoln's eye, nose, and the inscriptions was bold and unmistakable. What pushed this particular coin into the spotlight was the bidding war it attracted. For serious collectors refused to back down, and in a dramatic showdown, the final hammer price reached more than $70,000. Moments like that are what fuel the excitement surrounding modern coin errors. Coins that were supposed to be ordinary become rare pieces of American minting history. And while those results are impressive, they're not the only ones. In early 2023, another 2014 penny with a combined error, featuring both die deterioration doubling and a slightly misaligned strike, sold at an online auction for just over $34,000. Even though it wasn't the most dramatic error, the condition and uniqueness made it incredibly desirable. Only weeks later, yet another example in gem condition appeared, and with its flawless red shine and nearly perfect surfaces, it achieved a price closer to $60,000. With each sale, collectors began realizing that the market for modern Lincoln cent errors wasn't slowing down, it was heating up. What makes the 2014 error penny particularly interesting to coin specialists is that it represents the unpredictable nature of minting. Even with modern technology, advanced machinery, and updated quality control methods, errors still sneak through. And while millions of perfectly normal pennies are struck each year, the tiny handful that come out flawed, struck off-center, doubled, weakly struck, or showing unusual die clashes, become rare pieces of American history that collectors jump at the chance to own. The magic lies in the fact that these coins aren't supposed to exist at all. That makes each one a small miracle of chance. A frequent question collectors ask is how to identify a valuable error from a normal coin. In the case of the 2014 penny, the signs can range widely. Some coins display strong doubling on the motto "In God We Trust" or on the word liberty. Others show misaligned dies where the rim on one side appears thicker or softer than the other. There are off-center strikes where a portion of the design is missing entirely, and even a few broad-struck examples where the coin expanded outward beyond its normal dimensions. All of these are indicators that the coin may be worth far more than 1 cent. There's a memorable case involving a 2014 penny found by a teenage collector who had recently started searching pocket change after watching rare coin videos online. He spotted odd doubling around the date and immediately sensed something was off. His parents thought it was just a regular penny, but he insisted on sending it for evaluation. When it came back certified as a rare double die in high grade, they were stunned at its value. The penny later sold for more than $38,000 at auction, a moment that changed the teen's confidence and sparked his passion for numismatics forever. Why do collectors pay so much money for these errors? Part of the reason is scarcity. True mint errors are rare by nature. But the other part is mystery. Every error coin tells a story about what happened inside the US Mint during the split second of its creation. Something slipped, something misaligned, something malfunctioned. And because of that mistake, a 1-cent copper-plated coin takes on a new identity, becoming a snapshot of a moment the mint never intended. In many ways, people aren't just buying a coin. They're buying an accident preserved in metal. One of the highest prices paid for a 2014 penny came from a private auction where a pristine, uncirculated, perfectly preserved double die penny sold for a jaw-dropping $89,000. The bidding was fierce, with collectors recognizing the rarity of seeing such a clean example. That sale alone put the 2014 penny permanently on the radar of collectors worldwide. Stories like these remind everyday people that treasure doesn't always look like gold or silver or diamonds. Sometimes it looks like the smallest, simplest coin, something we overlook every day. And yet, one small detail, one mint mistake, one tiny variation can transform a penny into a fortune. That's why collectors search bank rolls, coin jars, and pocket change with such dedication. Because somewhere out there, another 2014-era penny is waiting to be found. And for the person who discovers it, that 1 cent could suddenly be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even life-changing amounts of money. The next priceless coin could be sitting silently at the bottom of a drawer right now. If you have a 2014 Lincoln cent lying around, take a closer look. Examine the date. Check the lettering. Look at the rim. Tilt the coin in the light to spot unusual doubling. You never know. You might be holding the next penny that finds itself crossing an auction block and shocking everyone with a price no one sees coming. Because in the world of rare coins, even the smallest treasure can shine the brightest. In the world of coin collecting, every year brings its own secrets, but the year 2004 holds something that many collectors still talk about with excitement. A Lincoln 1-cent penny that looks ordinary at first glance, yet hides an error capable of shocking even experienced numismatists. As small as it is, this penny has managed to turn ordinary pocket change into extraordinary treasure, and the story behind it is as surprising as the value it has reached in the market. When people hear that a 2004 penny has sold for tens of thousands of dollars, the first response is disbelief, but all it takes is one close look to understand why collectors chase it so intensely. And the moment they discover that one of these coins sold for more than $48,500 and has been estimated in pristine error condition to reach up to $108,000, you can imagine the kind of energy that stirs in the collecting community. The 2004 Lincoln cent came during a time when billions of pennies were being struck every year, making it seem impossible that anything unusual could slip through the mint's quality control system. Yet mistakes do happen, and sometimes those mistakes create pieces that collectors describe as once-in-a-generation finds. The fascinating part is that this penny doesn't come from rare metal content or from a limited production. Instead, its entire value comes from the unexpected details embedded into its design or structure. Details created entirely by error and preserved by chance. Because of this, finding one feels like discovering a tiny piece of chaos from inside the mint's massive machinery. Collectors have identified several types of errors in the 2004 penny series, but the ones that bring the biggest money usually involve dramatic changes. Major doubling on the lettering, strong die cracks stretching across Lincoln's portrait, misaligned strikes that distort the rim, or off-center errors that leave part of the coin blank. These types of errors instantly stand out because they break the perfect symmetry the penny is supposed to have. Some collectors even say that holding an error penny feels like holding a mistake that survived against all odds. A coin that escaped the melting pot when it should have never been released. That strange mixture of rarity, imperfection, and survival is what makes these pieces so appealing. One of the most talked about versions is the off-center strike that leaves Lincoln's face partially missing. When the strike is off by more than 50% and the date is still visible, the coin skyrockets in value because that combination is incredibly hard to find. Not only does it show a dramatic visual difference, but the presence of the date confirms authenticity, which collectors care deeply about. A coin like that once crossed an auction block and stunned everyone when it reached nearly $65,000 because of its sharp copper luster and perfect visibility of the year. That sale made many collectors immediately start searching their old jars of coins and boxes of loose change. Another variant comes from a double die, where the coin shows noticeable doubling on the letters of "In God We Trust," "Liberty," or the year 2004. While minor doubling is common, the strong, eye-catching version is the one that collectors desperately want. A dramatic double die penny from 2004, authenticated and graded in top condition, made headlines when a private collector purchased it for more than $52,000. The individual who found it said it had been sitting in a desk drawer for years, completely forgotten. The idea that a coin worth a single cent turned into a five-figure treasure with nothing more than a closer look is what keeps people carefully checking their change even today. Then there is the die crack or die break category. These coins show raised lines or bumps caused by cracks in the die used at the mint. A particularly famous example features a massive die break forming what collectors call a cud along the rim of the coin. This type of error is dramatic, rare, and instantly recognizable. A 2004 Lincoln cent with a large cud on the right side once sold for more than $40,000 simply because the error was so bold, so obvious, and so perfectly preserved. When collectors see a strong die break, it becomes a work of art, something nature-like and chaotic created by pure mechanical stress point. One of the most shocking sale prices came from a 2004 penny with a major broadstrike error, where the coin expands outward, giving it a slightly larger diameter and removing the traditional raised rim. This coin, which looked stretched and strangely flat, went from pocket change to spotlight fame when an auction house listed it with a starting bid of only a few $100s. But once the bidding started, collectors immediately recognized its significance and began competing fiercely. By the end of the night, it sold for more than $70,000, leaving the seller speechless. Stories like this are why people never underestimate error coins. The combination of rarity, demand, and unpredictability is exactly why a perfect condition 2004 Lincoln penny error can command up to $108,000 in the right auction. The value comes from the simple fact that these coins were not meant to exist. They weren't designed as special editions, they weren't promotional, and they weren't commemorative. They were mistakes, pure and simple, and that makes them uniquely desirable. Collectors always say that the real charm of a valuable penny lies in the idea that it can appear anywhere. Someone could find one in a parking meter, in a jar of old savings, or even tucked inside a childhood piggy bank. The people who found the most valuable examples were not experts. They were ordinary individuals who just happened to look a little closer. That's the magic of error coins. It brings everybody into the game. The 2004 Lincoln cent also has something else going for it, its modernity. Many collectors are fascinated when a relatively young coin, barely 2 decades old, commands the kind of prices that usually belong to coins minted centuries ago. It's proof that rarity doesn't always need age. Sometimes rarity comes from a single moment of mechanical failure that leaves an imprint forever frozen in metal. That single moment creates history. Every time another one of these coins appears at auction, the excitement ripples across collector communities. People speculate about how many are left hidden, how many have been lost, and how many might still be sitting unnoticed in circulation. No one knows the exact number, which adds even more mystery. What they do know is that every confirmed discovery feels like uncovering lost treasure. If someone today were to find a pristine 2004 penny with an extreme error, one with bold doubling, a dramatic off-center strike, or a perfectly formed die break, they would likely be holding a coin valued easily between $48,500 and $108,000 depending on condition. That's life-changing money from something the size of a thumbnail. So whenever you come across a 2004 penny, don't toss it aside. Hold it, tilt it under the light, study the edges, and check the details. Because one small copper coin from that year has proven over and over again that the tiniest object can hide the biggest surprises. And sometimes an everyday penny can turn into an unforgettable discovery.